Hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing fine. I'm sorry I'm a bit late. I see that L is there. I don't know if he's still there. And Bear, nice seeing you. Shoner Shoner post stream. Yeah, well, that's what it is. WinterDawn is coming, but what it is, well, it's the game that I'm working on. So if you have any question, you can let me know. And yeah, nice seeing you, Bear. I don't know if you're still there because, like I said, I'm a bit late, and I feel like this fucking stream needs to start with a bit of rant against technology. I'm fucking sick of it. I've been using Linux for quite a while. Maybe like probably more than 20 years at this point. Yeah, maybe 21 years, 22 years. And at first, I moved to Linux for an ideological reason. I didn't like where Windows going. I didn't like what they're doing, Microsoft and all that kind of shit. And I like Linux approach. And at first, things were rough. But then slowly, every year would get better and better and better. But at some point, we fucking peaked. And now, like, it's fucking getting worse and worse and worse. Every fucking year now, like, every fucking edition is worse than the previous one. And I would say it's since Linus Torvalds stepped away. And since they included, like, those fucking community guideline and all that kind of bullshit that now, like, now all of a sudden they were worried that all the code committed to Linux was committed by straight white men. So, alright. I'm sure that's not gonna change anything. Yeah, no, it fucking screwed up everything. Hello, Angar. How you doing? So now every time I want to start a stream, I have to do like troubleshooting because now, well, every time I want to start a stream with a virtual camera, because now that's what I'm doing. I'm streaming through OBS as a virtual camera because it's better for do like a screen share and stuff like that. That's what I do when I do like a video game stream, or now when I'm gonna do some writing. But every time I need to fucking do like some troubleshooting because things breaks all the time. It's fucking annoying. Drive me crazy. It does make you feel like going back to being a fucking monk. You sharpen your quill and then you ride away. But yeah. Now my internet like is fucking up. Ongar, I didn't get a haircut. I guess like I just like got my yeah, a little bit swept up there. I don't know. That's when I do troubleshooting and I go like ah. But I didn't go to a hairdresser like in since I was like 15. So getting a haircut, like I don't get haircut. I just cut my hair. Bear said I tried Linux a couple of years ago, and the distro snobbery and lack of help finally made me go back to Windows 10. Well, that's the thing too. I complain a lot about Linux. I'm not gonna lie. Like I do complain a lot, but I still feel it's better than the alternative. And that says, it's fucking sad to say, but that's the thing. Like, and the lack of Photoshop. Well, yeah, that if you're dependent on Adobe, that's gonna be annoying. What do you say to Guy? What do you say to Guy who is waiting for someone that is so hard to get? I love someone that lives in a in a different city, but the only girl I love is her. It's been almost 1 year. Don't want to move on. Man, if you're asking for me for relationship advice, you're really in the wrong fucking place. I'm really not the right guy for relationship advice. I have no success with, I hate women, so no, no, I have like no success with women. I lie. I don't really hate them. I say that as a joke. It's a joke. I criticize them a lot, but and they don't like that. Yeah, I saw that you were talking about that on stream the other day. That you're finishing removing Linux from your system, but you didn't used to. You just like try it on. No, you just like put it in, try it, and take it out, take an advice. You're one on some men around from the world. Yeah, but I think I'm not the worst looking guy. I'm not gonna lie, but I got a fucking shit personality. I'm very rigid. I'm very hard. So I'm not good for women. So yeah, you shouldn't ask me. Hello, Charlotte. How you doing? talking about women. Maybe you can ask. Maybe you can help Shubham. That got a ring in chat. Seriously. All right. Tonight I wanted to try this thing. Is my volume all right? Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Linux has been going downhill, especially since the code of conduct trap. Yeah. Tonight I wanted to try to do some writing, and specifically like some design stuff. More than writing, it's design stuff I'm trying to do. You just hide the shin so we won't recognize. Oh, volume is a bit low. Okay, it seemed like it shows like it's peaky on my side, but you know I know not to trust that. Hello, crafting gamer. Tell me if it's better. I don't like my chin. You can go back in my video and see me with a longer beard, see me with a shorter beard. I don't have much chin, but I have a chin. I'm not chinless by any stretch. I don't think so. This is not the logo of my imprint company, but that's not what I was going for. So what I'm doing here, like I'm working on a character creation, and it's not gonna be like the most passionate, like the most interesting thing to look at. But what I'm trying to do is I want to have like this life path kind of character creation system. So you start by picking a race, and then you pick some sub race, and then you pick your origin, where you grew up, social class. Oh, okay, sorry, yeah. If Mr. Max Shave, we find out, is the image of a people used for Jeffro of the Bro SR. Oh, like those are the statue thing, eh? You just hide the shin so we don't. Okay, I get it. Sorry, I missed. Yeah, you're right. I did. If my dog looked like you, I'd shave his ass and teach him to walk backward. Yeah, because you don't want your dog to upstage you, which most dogs do. But what am I using to host that page? DreamHost, which I used to be on GoDaddy, but they pissed me off. So now I moved to DreamHost, and I like how it works. It's simple enough, and they're not too expensive. They give you like SSL certificate. I don't know if that's what you're asking. The code, it's like I use like a markup language called ASCII doc. If you want to go into nerd stuff, I'll show you. I'll show you what it look like. Like that is what it look like when I write. So I write all my thing here, and I use like those markup there. Like, oh, okay, this is gonna be a table, and this is gonna be in strong. So that's how I write actually. And this is now I can commenting. You can go and include thing. So if I go where is it? Character creation. Like if I open something like that, you see like now I commented a bunch of things that I wasn't happy with, and instead of like erasing it, and then I can just like create my different section in different file, and then just do an include, and then you can include them with everything that was the title 1 now offset it by 1, so now it become a title 2, and I get a preview of what it looks like there, but then I can render it, and it give me like I can render it in HTML, which give me like this kind of page with table of content, or I can render it in PDF if I want, but the rendering in PDF doesn't have quite the option I want. So, but just for working document, do like a SRD that works pretty well for me. It's ASCII doc may seem intimidating at first, but it's pretty simple when you get into it. So yeah, so that's the thing. Now, okay. So you start by choosing a race. This I wanted to make like some cost. God damn it. I just fucking lost my connection for a while there. Fucking internet. That's something I hope is gonna be better once I move. Soon I'll move. Yeah, most of my web page I just like do say like HTML is a child way to web design. Most of my page like but like that's the thing. I'm autistic, so most of my page I just do like in well kind of Notepad or Kate. Yeah, because I'm on KDE, so I use Kate. But I'm just used to it, and I can do like a one day I'll show you something another project I work on. I got some card game in the work as well. Because I'm also quite into board game, believe it or not. And also, honestly, I use Linux for 12 years. Before, I just prefer Windows. It has its pluses. Yeah, I'm so used to it, to be honest. Did it? Have you checked out the Life Path and Traveler, Fading Sun, and Burning Wheel? Burning Wheel is my biggest inspiration in that sense. I would say that's where I get like a what is roast? I don't know what roast is. What do you mean by roast? Oh, by for what I was saying to Bush Bear. Yeah. Did. Well, it's not really programming. It's a simplified markdown. If you look at ASCII Doctor, it's gonna explain everything. It's pretty simple. But oh, you can see in my tab that I was doing troubleshooting. No, I just fucking use Chat GPT. I don't fuss about anymore. So now, like, let's say you pick a human, and they're not all done, and also those value here are just like placeholder. Once I have like now what I'm working on is figure out kind of like the tree of what I'm trying to do. And if you have like maybe I'm gonna ask you some question, maybe I'll take some suggestion, maybe I'll tell you they're bad idea, or tell you why I don't like them. But the idea is that like every step you pick something. When you pick the class, it gives you your base stat for your attribute, size, height, all this kind of like bullshit that we take out of the way. I have a virtue system, so it's gonna inch your virtue in one way, and human or devious and cunning, and give you like some skill that you're good at, and then you choose a subrace. So I got a bunch of subrace there that are defined, and again, that's gonna modify one of your attribute, some of your virtue, some of your skill, and it's gonna influence the cost for your origin. And then once you choose that, when you chose your race and subrace, then you go to origin, and then let's say you come from a city. Again, it influence your attribute, influence your virtue, give you some trait, your skill, and then you pick. In the case of city, you pick two feature, and some of them cannot combine. So my internet's crap tonight. If you're a crime-ridden city, you're gonna get those kind of skill, and isolated, you're gonna get those. So you can mix two. So you can say so give a kind of identity to where you're from. And the idea of that is that when you create your character, you know you kind of know its background. You're making like your backstory as you create a character. Well, it's the proper of a life path system. Guardian of the Rune say, I'm surprised it's not just human as playable kin. I I consider it a lot because that's what I would prefer. But I want to give the option of having different race, because it's easier to take them out. And if you're the GM, say, well, we're all gonna play human. We're only gonna play human. Then all the rest can just be ignored. If you want to have a more fantasy experience, then you can say, well, okay, I got like 9 playable race. So that's why I'm decided to include them, but I might still cut them. LC subrace, more fake skill system. Well, it's not fake skill system. WinterDawn is a skill based game. That's what the game is about. So yeah, if you're just looking for D&D, you're not gonna find that in. It's not class. You don't have a class. So it's all skills. So yeah, that's what you're gonna get. You know. So then, okay, and now what I'm at is social class, and I was trying to do some kind of test. I wanted to social class because, like, as you see, that there's a cost. Oh, hello, Baron Rock, and thank you for your suggestion. Yeah, you can hit the like button. I can even hit my own. And I wanted the social class, which your social class is not your occupation because that's also going to come later on the process, but it's basically like what your folks did, where in what kind of environment you were raised. And I wanted that to be and I wanted that to be what I was saying, dependent on your race and your origin, in the sense that if you play like a northerner that grew up in the desert, you're probably not gonna have like, it's gonna be a little more complicated to be a noble. You're not gonna be like it's not gonna be as available. So that's why I came here with this idea of having a table like that. And again, every social class is gonna give you some skill and some and influence you attribute. I'll say, oh, no class. Now you have me interested. But why needs a subrace then? Subrace are very like, for example, for the human, which I call I man, because like the dwarf and the hobbit are half men because they're just short, so they're just half men and I man. But the subrace are just like, oh, you're a northerner. You come from the desert land. You come from the island archipelago. You come from kind of the middle. They're very tame subrace. For the equivalent of the dwarf, which are their islander half men, which because they live in the mountain, their subrace they live in a caste system. So your subrace is the caste that you come from. It's more like a specificity on your race. Something. See, it's if like orc is a playable race, and the subrace or thing like the clan you come from. So it's not very it's more like culture if you want. Or in the case of the dwarf, like a caste, the caste that you were born into. For the elves are gonna vary depending on the season they're born in. If they're born in the summer or in the winter, are they gonna be very melancholic? Are they gonna be like very joyful and stuff like that? So this is why this is what the sub race are. It's not something very high fantasy. They're very about like the culture you come from. We keep forgetting my French lesson. If we keep at it, maybe we can trick YouTube into flagging the stream as educational. Well, my streams are very educational. They're just educational about RPG. Pick a race, sub-race, origin, ancestry, and ethnicity, profession, pronoun. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, What I have is a race. Well, race, sub-race. Sub-race is kind of like a specific, because every step you pick like the big thing, and then you pick like a specificity in that thing, like an option, basically. So what you have to like, and the sub race is like the option. So what you have to pick is like your race, your origin. Like, you pick your origin. Oh, I grew up in a city. Then you pick a feature of the city. Like I said, like, oh, is it like a trade center? Is it an artistic center? Was it a fortified city? Was it, like you just give some personality to that option that you picked. So, and it's the same thing for sub race in a way. So they're just like a little detail that you add. But what you pick, yeah, it's your race, your origin, your social class, some life event. You can pick some life event that happened when you were like younger. Then some occupation that you did before you adventured. Then I have the what your kind of like your initiating event, like what got you to become an adventurer, why did you stop doing what you were doing, and your motivation. So, and then I think with that you have a pretty good idea of who your character is from the get-go, and it's also a way to link your character to other people in the party, because maybe if you share an occupation with somebody else, maybe that's how you know this guy. Maybe you grew up in the same place. Maybe you know it gives you like a hook. Yeah. Are there a random table for this, like a random race table or a profession table? Not yet, but this is something I might consider later on. That's something I would be interested in, but I want to do like the base system first, and maybe then because like the idea is also like that the thing is supposed to be weighted, like you have cost for thing. That's what you see in the table here, and you have cost for thing, and what I was saying, and the cost is based on how unique the option is. So the more you try to make your character unique in some aspect, the more it's gonna be you have to be mundane in other aspect. So you cannot always pick like it's kind of to limit like the just like the character build thing that you just try to pick every fucking option that is like kind of quirky but give you like this bonus, you know. And it's also like if you want to have like a character start a character older, you can pick more profession, and because like profession you can go like a higher level in them. Like you maybe you start as an apprentice blacksmith, then you go to a blacksmith, then you something like that. But then it costs you more point, or you can play like a more unique character, but you won't have as many background point or fate point that I call them to pick up more profession. So you're gonna have like less experience, but probably more unique experience. So that was the idea. If you want to start like a character that is a bit older, didn't have like an exceptional life, or wasn't like particularly exceptional like intrinsically, you know, he's somebody that's unremarkable, but he did some stuff for a while, and then he got some experience, and he can go adventure, or you can play like the youngin that doesn't have so much experience, but is maybe more remarkable due to birth accident and stuff like that. Anyway, I don't know if it makes sense when I try to explain it like that, but hopefully and that's something I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure a way to depict that makes sense. The only French you need to visit France is the most used phrase, "Fuis-toi," "fuis-toi." Like fuck you. Yeah, va te faire foutre is the way they say when pressing your thumb on your teeth and quickly flipping it away. Oh yeah, yeah. Sim that means a few, whatever you could mean by this earlier. Swearing in French like wiping your ass with silk. Well, like I don't like the French swear word. We have like a very different one in Quebec. What if you want to start as a character with city profession but never left the countryside? Well, there's a prerequisite for when you pick an occupation. You need to have some, and not everything is padded. You know, at some point you have to, and you can explain it yourself. But there's prerequisite. Like if you want to start like you cannot start as like a blacksmith if you have no skill in crafting at all. But you can get some you're gonna get some crafting skill by if you come from crafting an artisan family, or if you come like there's some background before you choose an occupation that's gonna predispose it you, or maybe you can start as an apprentice blacksmith where you need less crafting skill. Um, sometimes there's gonna be like some restriction. You want to take this profession, you need to either you need to have taken like a previous profession, or you have to get some skill that you gain maybe from your father or whatever. And now, okay, so now like I started like with the clergy. I was just trying to make a test. How I'm gonna present that with the table there. Uh, so skill are like RTS tech tree. Well, not really. The skill are well, kind of in a way. I got to admit. If I open that, can you see that? This is my skill list, right? It's a pretty big skill list because it's a skill-based game. So I say, you know what? And I have this theory that if you have a short skill list with broad skill, player will ask you more question than you have a wide skill list. Because or they're gonna stare at the character sheet more because they want to do something. Let's say you have like in 5e, you have like maybe what 6, 7, 8 skill, something like that. Another character want to do something and it's gonna stare at the character sheet trying to figure out which skill apply, or he's gonna ask the GM which skill apply. If you have like a wide character sheet, I think that instinctively player just say, "Oh, I want to intimidate that guy." He's gonna speak out what he wants to say, what he wants to do, before going to look at the character sheet, and then the GM or somebody that knows the game can just say, "Well, you get the intimidation skill. It's under influence." And the skill are organized in group, and because when you, I wanted to represent the cross competence. Like let's say for a if you like the athleticism skill, right? You can increase by usage, and you can increase all those skills separately. But once you have 3 of those skills with 1 rank, you can reduce the rank of all those skill and increase the skill. Well, you reduce the rank of all those 3 skill and increase the rank of the group, and the rank of the group is always added to the rank of the skill. So so basically your skill that you roll stay the same, but it means let's say you have like climbing, jumping, and lifting at 1 rank, they all go back to 0, but athleticism get to 1. So now when you roll a climbing, jumping, and lifting, you still have a rank of 1 because you had the group rank. But now also if you go for running or swimming, you do have your skill group, yeah, as well. And that was to present like in the sense that at some point you're just going to become like a well-rounded athlete in that case. Or if you learn like crafting and you learn to do masonry and you learn to do woodworking and you learn to do gem cutting, then you probably know something about crafting in general that can apply to some, if you want to do like some metalworking. I don't know which one, I didn't say. Uh, at some point you just become like, so that's why that's why it's organized in this way. Uh, and skill increase by using them. So it's made. Yeah, Starling really doesn't like me tonight. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. I don't even have like a cell phone service. Huh? What's going on tonight? It's not even cloudy outside. I don't know. Something weird going on. But what I was saying. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, shut up. Yeah, and once you play, like you're gonna get better at what you do by doing it, basically. Yeah. Free league, you get more skill the older your character is, but reduce attribute. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. Yeah, I still have to work on the aging mechanic as well. I want to have that, but I haven't played with it. They have dependency. You can have Z without X and Y. That's only in character creation. Character creation is I allow myself to go a little more crunchy in character creation. Once you play the game, you don't have those restrictions anymore because, like I said, your skill just increase as you use them. But because character creation is not done like in real time necessarily, like you can take your time to do it, and also usually the way I design thing, once I have something that kind of work, I usually come back to it and try to simplify it. For me, it's much easier to go like a little more complex and then try to reduce complexity, try to refine and try to make things like simpler. That's usually how I design. I get the idea, like I give the idea some form, and then I go back to it and try to refine it, to really get to the essence. So what you see here is not gonna be what's gonna be the final form. Yeah. 5e is 18 skill, more than most skill-based game, but in my experience, the GM will maybe ask for 4. Yeah, they exactly. Perception, sneak, and yeah. Like a programmer can do with an intelligence of 4 and typing 30. Well, intelligence would be like, well, it's erudition. That would be like your attribute. And you can, the attributes you use, it's a dice pool system. The attributes you're using determine the type of dice you roll, the skill, the number of dice you roll. So to get like an example again for like that's something we can understand. If you try to lift something and you're not very strong, maybe you're just gonna roll like d4 or d6, but maybe you have very good technique because you know how to use your body. Then maybe you're gonna roll like let's say it's d6, you're gonna roll like 6d6, so you still have a good chance of success. If somebody can be very strong and roll a d12, but doesn't have any doesn't know how to use his body, doesn't know any, like you might be roll just one dice because you got no rank in the skill. So it's gonna be more swingy. So technique makes you more reliable, where and your attribute does give you like a bigger dice, but if you have both technique and a strong attribute, then well, you have very good chance of success, of a great success. Oh, weekend internet. Yeah, that could be it actually. That could be it. Yeah. Hello, Crapful. Nice seeing you. Didn't Shadowrun do something similar with character creation? If you wanted to be a meta human, you had to put that as your highest priority. So skill and attribute were secondary. I haven't played Shadowrun. Um, I should look at it at some point, but it's always like the setting kind of like threw me off. Hello, RPG Grandma. Don't talk to me about aging today. I just finished varnishing most of my deck, exhausted. Oh man, I know it. Like for me, like the tipping point was when I passed like 35. At some point, you realize like, man, I'm getting slower and I am getting tired more. And when I injure myself, it takes longer to heal. Taking a break from my monster project. Where's your monster project? I wish you made a typo there. What didn't talk about varnishing most of my deck. I don't know what are you talking about. Quickly like that. You're varnishing your what? Oh, no, his deck. My stupid phone tried to win would have been good. Cutting off again. Fucking internet. A boat can like a deck is also like a patio, you know, in the background. Yeah. Doo doo doo. Yeah, back at the house. Yeah. That's something I always want to do here, like a deck, but now like a well, I always want to do. That's something like, you know, I've been living here for 10 years, and for most of those years, I say, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna sell this year. Maybe I'm gonna move every fucking year. Now I'm finally doing it. All right, that's the thing I want to say here. I started making a test with Mr. Max, the way you say deck, the way I read it, deck, yeah, the wrong word. I uh, I started making an example with clergy, and then I wanted to have like some specification for that. But then I said, you know what? Maybe I'm going too zoomed in for the social class. So I decided to take a step back and try to redesign a bit. So now I think like those are gonna be the social class: tradesman, scholar, noble, laborer, and destitute. Or I should say call it deprived. Should I call it deprived? I should call it deprived because I'm as a as a as a as a wing to Dark Soul. You're not moving. Well, actually, like, well, I'm not. Actually, I did get I'm getting a new place in November, but still doesn't mean I'm gonna move. I'll believe it when I move there. I already paid like it's now I'm gonna rent for a while, waiting to see what I'm doing. So I already paid for the first 2 months of rent. But you know what? There's still a possibility that I decide not to move in the end and just say fuck it. So I'll believe it when I move. Yeah. So yeah, tradesman, scholar, and now being raised like in kind of like religious family is gonna be part of being a scholar. So I think I'm gonna change. That's gonna be one of the options you can choose. So I think that those gonna be like a five impoverished. Yeah. Well, I like deprived because like I'm a big fan of Dark Soul, and that's the class I start with in deprive. Maybe I'll change the term, but for now that's gonna be it, I guess. So what do you think? Would that make sense? I might need another option for laborer if you want. If I want to have a thing neat. How many do I have here? Like 6, 3, 6, 5, yeah, and 4. Yeah, probably need like 2 more for deprive. If you got suggestion for that, and 1 more for laborer. The important thing is like this is where like the environment you grew up in, your like kind of what your family was doing, not your profession necessarily. You could break from that, but it's kind of like, oh, you grew up in a village and you were like a shepherd, you know, your parents were shepherds, so you grew up with that when you were young and stuff like that. So it's not something you did like seriously as an adult. It's more something like the environment you grew up as a kid, and it's gonna give you like some skill related to that, you know, like some stuff you learned from your folks. Yeah, some tangential knowledge, I guess. Tangential. So the clergy thing. What am I? Character creation. Go there. I'm not used to work on that computer as well. That's the usually when I do my writing, I do it on the laptop. But I stream from that computer. Okay. Oh, that's something cool too. You can do with this software. You can just like close some comment. I'm gonna copy that because that's gonna be my template. And I'm gonna comment this one because this one is no good anymore. There you go. So this is no good anymore. And this is gonna be called. All right, let's not start with the scholar. Let's start with the. Let's start with noble. There you go, noble. Beggar. Yeah, I got like the beggar. Beggar is probably a better term. I call them like slum fiend, but I think I'm gonna change that for beggar. Or is that beggar too harsh? Slum fiend. When you grew up in the city and you're just like what's it would be like I didn't want to go homeless, but you know it's when you grew up in the what is it, beggar. Beggar is like too much of a profession. I think I'm gonna keep like slum fiend. Oboe, yeah. Oboe would be like on the wanderer, he's the homeless boy. My family balancing raft and large object on the head. Really? What you grew up doing? Childhood can give you a specific skill. Clergy or beggar. Yeah, well, bum class. We can come back to those later on. But for now, like I got some other class I can work on. I think I'm gonna start with that. Man, this fucking starting. It said like obstruction every 12 minutes, or interruption every 12 minutes, but I feel like it's been way more than that, isn't it? Slum fiend. Is that too harsh? Like I'm not writing in a style that cuddle people. Like it's still like still who I am. All right, noble. So first thing first. Do 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 do. Okay, if you are human and you grew up in a city, noble is gonna be cost you 30. Noble is gonna cost you 60 if you're in a village because there's less noble in a village. Um, or maybe what? No, I'm gonna lower that a bit because this is gonna be 60. And those numbers can change. I'm gonna have to do some tests and balance thing out. You just like to give like a general idea. And I don't have like an official setting. I don't have an explicit setting in the game. I don't want to provide an explicit setting. There's an implicit setting because with the race that I describe and the skill I give them, what I want to do is like you can kind of make your idea of the world based on the rules. You know, I don't want to tell people like specifically. So now you can see, like, well, I got the word tref there. That's a word like maybe not everybody's gonna be familiar with. A tref is a Welsh term for a village, but those are like the kind of like the standing for the hobbit, you know, like the lowlander halfmen. And I do have like some blurb for the race and stuff like that about who they are, what they are about. You can recognize them, but do 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 do. Anorda is Anorda is uh, an orcish kind of a set. Lowlander. The lowlander don't have shite. Fuck's sake. Don't have any noble because they're communist. The orcs are gonna have a noble if they grew up in the Orda. They're like a chieftain or in the wilderness, I guess. The goblins. The goblins are gonna be like the same as the orc, but more expensive and not in the wilderness. The goblins in there like are kind of cousin of the orcs, and but they live like as servant in orcish society. The hobgoblins in that game, they are mixed between like an orc and a goblin, and they're infertile. They can still like or semi-infertile. Elf, elf. They could have noble in human city. They could have some in human village. They won't have any in dwarven citadel. They could have in some tref. They're not gonna have in the Orda, and they can have in some in the wilderness because that's where they live. Keep dropping it. What people are talking about both now? Slum Fiend sound like a monster. Well, interruption every other minute. Oh, come on now. Oh, Whitewater Raft Guide in my youth. Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, that's something I love. I haven't done it in a long time. I wish like yeah, that's something I do. Maybe after I move, maybe I'll go back to find some place to canoeing or doing some kayak. In Shakespeare time, Poe recall Stenkard, like stinker. Oh, maybe I should. Maybe that's a good one. Maybe I should. Rafting. Grew up rafting and other water stuff. This is a good like this is a fucking good childhood, I guess. Well, I don't want to. It's not my role to tell you how your childhood was. But from the outside, it looks pretty cool. Yeah. Would a Culk wagon really go through Whitewater? Or did Oregon Trail like me? Well, wagon are made of wood. If they displace more water than they weight, they would float. You love something, I have to keep that. Well, Stunker can be cool too. Yeah. Thinking about Deprive, maybe a Mendicant Monk. That could be an interesting class. Dirt poor, but connected to a power structure, useful to a powerful people. Yeah, that's a good. That's probably gotta be like in the occupation, something that you did before, like, and it's probably like an occupation that you can come either if you were poor or if you were from a clerical family. Man, that's I think that's the worst my internet has been in quite a while. Like the cut now are constant and they're long too. Fucking hell, people! It's a Saturday evening. Get out of the house. Go do something. Don't be like me. Hey, hello, Paris Parlor. Nice seeing you. Yeah, capsizing would be an issue. Yeah. It's coming along well. It's coming along well, slowly, but sometimes like it takes a long time trying to figure out an issue. I try different thing, and when I got something that I kind of like, that I find kind of work, I then it can go fast, but it takes a while for me to. I like to play with a lot of things before I go with it. Yeah. Took friend and niece and nephew this summer for a floating easy trip. Niece and nephew now learning the business from my sister. What made you decide to include what made you include if you don't like iFantasy? It's to give people option, and because I still have like magic system in the game and stuff like that I still need to work on. Like it's probably the next thing after character creation. I'm probably gonna go on magic system, but it's just like I want to make a game that people want to play, and I cannot just make a game that it's a game that I want to play because I like the mechanic, I like the system, and like I said, it's easy to cut stuff, but it's not just a game for me either, and I know people want those fantasy rays, and know people want magic and stuff like that. So that's why I decided to include them. And it's like I don't hate all fantasy. I try to like the magic I try to make. I try to make it. It comes at a cost. It comes with some danger, stuff like that. The magic system. It's not magic as technology that it's always reliable and stuff like that. So that's part of the reason. I lost my place in the chat. What the hell? Okay, I got it back. Yeah. I thought he liked iFantasy, but I Magic. Well, I don't particularly like iFantasy, and I'm not gonna have like a cat. Well, no, that's not true. I do have cat people. The phone. That's where I was going there. But they have like kind of I try to explain them. I have like a reason. The reason might not even get in the book. I might not include it, but I did thought about it. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about it yet. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But there is like those animal people. I have like the whole idea of like the how the creation of the world existed and why there's those different races. But maybe I'm not gonna tell you. Yeah. Man, I might cut this stream short if it keep cussing like that. Hopefully, people are gonna go out now that it's almost 9. I did have to pound laundry, live in a shack with no running water, and or eat too as a kid. I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily, to be honest. I think like technology make us too soft. Held to lay pipes to bring water to the shack. Yeah, I had fun, but we were poor a very long time. I don't think it's. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. Like I think nowadays kids have it too easy, and it destroyed their character. My question are causing the lag. It's just like I went to work this morning to go to bar at 3. Now I'm here. Go to bar at 3 in the afternoon. You went to the bar. That's the right time to go. It's quiet. That's something like there's no bar around here. Is that something on me? There's no bar around here, so I haven't been in the bar really in a long time. Um but Biden inflation is making it all poor. We have like the Trudeau one here. It's even worse. Games need more anime girl with cat ears. There's some games for that. Yeah. No cat people, just no. Well, you got uh you get like kind of like wolf people, dog people, I guess. Dog people, cat people, goat people, and rat people. And I can tell you, like it's when like the god created like anyway. There's all like thing like they were created before. They're part of the Fae, and they were created before human. But it's when like this whole story about the god. It's like there's like the top god that has his children, and some of the children revolted and tried to create their life of their own. And one of the god tried to create intelligent life because he wanted to imitate his father that created them, and he did it from the beast. So he took some beast and he tried to refine them in closer to their image, and and then there was like at some point like in the world there was like all bunch of beast folks. But later on, I'm skipping a big part. Like when at some point there was being a war between the human and the beast folk. The human killed most of the beast folk, but they finally made a deal and they didn't kill the cats, the dog, and the goat because cats and dogs humans are friend with because they have them as pets. So they saw kind of like the pet they love in those people, so they spare them. They don't live amongst humans though. They just live in the wild and stuff like that. And the goat are kind of the one that kind of broker the peace, and also human like, when we like goats too, so you're okay. The rat folks just because they went in hiding, and the human just like missed them. But so that's kind of like the story where there's like those beast people. It's not just like a yeah, and that's why like there's cat and dog and goat and rat, but not no fucking crow people and yeah. Preserve the mystery. Just drop maddening hints of origin of cat people. Well, yeah, they were there before the human. Hello, Justin. Nice seeing you. Create the internet debate. Yeah. Now you gonna have like the kind of like you said. Oh, I remember he said in one time in stream like he kind of explained it, but he was very vague and yeah. Oh, speaking of cat girl, yeah. Hello, Rex Steel. Nice seeing you. RPG Grandma say when you crap phone say to RPG Grandma when you help with installing running water, I bet you appreciate it every time you turn on water. Gratitude is part of yeah, being a good person. That's something I would like. That's something like now I'm gonna rent for a year or so. Maybe I'm gonna build my own place after that. Maybe I'm gonna build another shack in the wood. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm re-evaluating where I want to go after that. No one ever want to play the anthropomorphic tapeworm. That's another one to do because like if you anthropomorphic, you pretty far from the worm then. You know, a dog, a cat, they still have like four leg, a head, a neck, a torso, so it's easier to make them anthropomorphic. The further away you go from mammal, the more it is it become hard to keep them. You drink like a true champion alone and and then tell you're unconscious. Well, that's what I do. I like drinking alone. Yeah. As soothing as your voice is, I have to get burritos for the family. Have fun, everybody. Have fun with your burritos. And with the family. That's a way better plan than looking at me than listening to me. Oh, Charlotte, finally got my internet back. I guess they heard what I said about the HTML and put me in timeout. Charlotte live with Mr. Max. Don't come on now. Don't start. I got a whooping 1.5 megabits upload. Who do I live with? Oh, that's I don't have an. Do I get that? Maybe I get one. I think 1.2. I don't remember anymore. I haven't checked in a while. Oh, sorry. So okay, the phone. Do they have the nobles? They don't. They won't have nobles living with the in city, in village. They won't have any in the citadel. They won't have any in the treff. Could they have some in the treff? No, maybe just in the wilderness. And the trolls. The troll don't have noble. Oh yeah, why have like a phone, which are beastmen and troll? Those are the fake creature. And other thing, like the elf, or like kind of like the very sentient creature linked to the vegetal world. The faun or sentient or sapient creature linked to the animal world, and the troll or sapient creature linked to the mineral world. The troll in there, like they're all like made out of rock and stuff like that, and they're basically immortal. But if they get like when they heal back, they turn back into stone, so they get like those big scars, like a big piece of stone. And at some point they get too injured, and they just turn back into boulder until at some point with erosion and stuff like that, they're gonna maybe come back alive. That's unclear. It takes a very long time. People are not sure. So, but because of that, they don't have proper culture. Because at some point, just like a boulder that kind of wake up with, and they all wake up kind of amnesiac. They lose their memory. They remember some of the skill and stuff like that. So they don't really have like a culture or society. But they're sapient, and they can do stuff. And in the book also, I do recommend like you can make like a human party. Human, I include like the half men as well, the two half men, like the dwarf and the hobbit. You can make a Fey party. You can make an orc party. Try to avoid mixing like orc and human and Fey, and like they don't mix that well. Uh, so it's for a different type of campaign. Of course, you're free to do what you want, but qu'est-ce que tu fais, Damien? Got a cat doing something weird. Half man, yeah, that's the verse. Yeah, they're the little people. Ah, two is already five too many. Come on now. Don't you think that for the Troll King? Troll King, Justin is a Troll King. Greg still say interesting setting idea so far. For my setting, I would personally have Goatman be Baphomet worshipping demon, but that's just how I view Goatman. Cool monstrous villain that ate human. Yeah, in that case, they're like kind of like a bit of a wise, not very wise because they're still beastmen, but they're like the wiser of the beastmen. They're the one that kind of like a more rational, like the well, the dogs are very angry, and the cats are they don't fucking give a shit about anything. They're lazy, and the rats are just devious. When the mood music is the Pierre Gunitsu. Oh, man, I don't even know what that is. All right. So if you're noble, I guess what you would gain would be as attribute, it be your persona. Persona is basically like the equivalent of a charisma, but it's a little broader, broader, because charisma is just like one aspect of your personality. It's persona is your force of a personality. It will also, what the fuck? I cannot. Oh no! For some reason I cannot highlight thing there. Ah, that sucks. I'll have to write it by hand. That sucks. Nope. Uh, it's gonna make you more dignified or vain. All right. So, what would be like the wise good man work? Yeah, because they have their little beard, they can stroke. You know, makes sense. Yeah. Should I download the current version or are you going to update? Well, there's no download really. It's just like the website you can go through. Um, I'm I try to upload by a section. So now you have like the basic rule, the basic combat rule, and the advanced combat rule. But there's nothing of character creation. I'm gonna upload the character creation when it's in a state that I'm satisfied with, when it's workable, when I like tested it a bit, you know. Then I'm gonna upload the document. But it's just like the website you can go. Like it has no really like download thing. Uh, you can read the rules as they are now. I'm pretty satisfied with the rules that are uploaded now. It might still change, but it won't be like it shouldn't be like drastic change. So if you want to look at it, you can look at it as it is. The link is in the description down below, by the way, if you want to look at it. Justin has valid thing to say at times. I think Actioner does too. Rex still, in my experience, goats are friendly and curious and affectionate. I'm going to have a goat race, and they're going to be like a gnome, but likable. Yeah, that would be like I think better. Like, that's a good way to see them, like gnome, but like yeah, fucking gnomes are annoying, and there's like too many short people. You know, you got we have the dwarf, and you have the halfling, and then you have the gnomes. You know, at some point, like, well, how many like shorty do you need? Yeah. Don't forget, if you don't have a party with an elf, an orc, a dwarf, another kin, the ADL will call your book a hate crime. No humanoid. Yeah, exactly. In a moral virtue. Yeah. A Goatman Empire. I guess you say boatman, but I guess it's Goatman. Yeah, you corrected there. Yeah. Yeah. Now I can see people betting on gnome riding goats around in circle. It does. What is it? It's a in Warhammer Fantasy. Dwarf ride goats, no? Which would make sense because dwarf live in mountain. Charlotte say, why does a furry menace constantly try to invade my game? Do we want to completely concede anthropomorphic animals to furry? Are we not allowed to enjoy them sometime? You know, you play Skyrim and there's like they have the Khajiit. Does that bothers you? Well, any Elder Scroll game, you have the Khajiit and the Argonian. Does that bother you? You know, the furries they're their own thing. You know what I mean? But I don't think we should like give them every anthropomorphic animal. Yeah. My favorite crazy race I found in the module was a polar bear center type critter. That would be like terrifying. Yeah, the internet, like man, it's fucking driving me crazy. All right, now I need to look at some skill that you would gain from being a noble, and there's some that would be like if I always like you go back and look at my skill list, and usually I try because I like to put them in alphabetical order, and they're alphabetical order, alphabetized here. But also now, like I know that noble would know about intrigue, so I'm gonna give you like some intrigue skill. etiquette, heraldry, law, occult, statecraft. They would know about that. They would probably have like some notion of melee combat, so I'm gonna give you some melee combat as well. And what else would a noble know? Maybe ego. Maybe I'm gonna boost their ego skill or tactic. And again, this is gonna change because like they might have like I always go for 3 now. It might go for more than that. It might go for less than that. They might go for more point. Oh, ride was a good idea, but I don't know if ride is a good idea. Do all noble learn to ride? If you are noble, like noble human, like noble dwarf wouldn't necessarily learn to ride, because they live in Citadel. And the orcs in that setting are very like inspired by the Mongol and the Scythian, so they all know how to ride very well. They're like good rider. That's kind of their thing. Or the Dothraki if you want. Like the orcs are basically like Dothraki from Game of Thrones, or Scythian or Mongol. All this kind of like inspiration. That's why I like the name, the Orda and the Urung Khan, for the culture. It's all like a part of that thing. I think I'm gonna give them. I think I'm gonna because like now, before I'm going to specific, I think I'm gonna give them like intrigue, melee combat, and ego. I think that's gonna be it. Yeah, intrigue. So I'm gonna go, but intrigue, the player is gonna be able to choose which one. So it's gonna be any intrigue. Ah, shite, man. I thought I had selected the word. Untrong. Maybe I need some light. I cannot see my fucking key. I always hated the RGB keyboard, but now I realize that I'd like to have one when I write in the dark. Any melee combat. And ego. Because I like my noble a bit arrogant. And that's not gonna be a specialty, now it's gonna be culture. Pick one based on race. How do I do that again? Just so I keep the formatting similar. Like this. Okay. This I can get rid of. Do I want to put the race in alphabetical order? No, I'm gonna keep them in the order that I'm presenting them so far. So I'm gonna start with Iman. And riding those gonna get like a riding for sure. So that was like crap phone saying that. Yeah. Animal and Ling. Let's see what the chat's saying there. Embroidery. Yeah. Before you laugh, you could make embroidery an ingredient for magic like voodoo. That's interesting. I have something not too far with that. Like because like I have like a type of magic that's shamanism where you need like those fetishes and those gree and stuff like that. Like you need those you need those you need those things that and if you lose them, you like those things to trap spirit in. Yeah. What? Anthropomorphic anymore are 100% evil. Are evil 100% of the time. Even cat girl, no matter how much you like them. Well, are cat girl evil because they're cat or because they're girl? That's the real question. because all animals go around licking each other balls and try to lick you. Language, reading, writing. Yeah, they. Yeah, probably like that should be a good one. Noble got to have ego and status. Yeah, ego ego is a resilience skill. It's part of the resilience group. It's used for like you can attack somebody's like spirit by insulting them and stuff like that, and you can resist with an ego check. So like, and there's some effect that you can use your ego to, if you get demoralized, if you stuff like that, you can do like some ego check to so it's just a skill. You got a big fucking ego, you're an egomaniac. Well, it's gonna help you sometime. Oh yeah, tactics I'm gonna include, which would be like strategy. I have like tactic, lie, deceit, charlatan, tax evasion. Well, now you're getting political there. I think those would be cultural trait. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Now, like I meant that's an actual culture. Persona. Okay, I think the I men, they're noble. Not only like do they have like a big persona, they also have they also value strength. So you're gonna tend to be stronger, a little stronger, because like they're the knight basically. They're the noble of the humans, or like in our medieval time, you would become the noble class was the warrior class basically. So, and they're gonna get mm, and again, those are just like it push you toward one thing. It doesn't mean that you're gonna get good at that thing. It's just like a little slide there. Like if all the other decisions like push you away from that, it's not gonna make much difference. They're gonna be what virtue with the? I almost feel like I'm making them devout and zealot, you know, or maybe they're no. Maybe dignify. Maybe I'm gonna double down on the dignify. Maybe they're gonna be like very vain or tend to be very vain. So maybe I'm gonna double down on dignified slash vain. Again, that can always change. So writing, they definitely get that. They're gonna get before writing, because that's in acumen. They're gonna get tactics, which is part of acumen skill group. Writing, that's gonna be like their primary to get. And what else? Noble pro fencing, horseback riding, speechcraft. Speechcraft could be good. Uh, cultural traits. Some noble wouldn't ride. They would always be in a carriage, chariot, and getting carried everywhere. Yeah, that's a fair point. But like again, like if you only pick yeah, sorry, because when you're a kid, that like social class is the environment you grew up in, so they probably like still try to teach you. So even like, a noble that wouldn't ride probably learn to ride and like you get some point in riding doesn't mean you're a riding expert. If you take all the option through your character creation that give you point in riding, you're probably gonna start pretty good. But if you just got one option at some point that give you some a full party of a one fifth of a man, They're half men. I don't have 1/5 of a man. I suppose it ultimately depends. Does depend on the type of noble. Like the second born was usually expected to join the knightly order, or they would say like one for the heir, one for the spare, one for the prayer. So the first one was the heir. The second one you keep around in case the first one died. And the third one you send to the clergy. Intimidation could work too. Yeah, keep those peasants in line. Uh, the game has no blacks. I do have blacks. They're baddie. Yeah, I have the same feeling with RGB. I think. Oh yeah, yeah, the keyboard. Yeah, I think if you can get one that will only do one color. Yeah, that's and no fucking pulsating thing. You know, like it's so fucking tacky. But now I can see like I could also just get a fucking light. You know what I mean? I have a light there, but like now my face is gonna be too. Nah, I don't like that. It's a hangout stream. I do those in the dark. Argonian are one of my favorite race in the Elder Scrolls series. I generally love reptilian creature, monster, and race. And dinosaur, the weirder they look, the better. Already. That's funny. Argonian always felt like we're out of place in the Elder Scroll. But Caged don't bother me for some reason. Although they don't seem to have a purpose in the world, but maybe I just don't know it. Eighth son of the baronet become the merchant of Farmar. Yeah, eighth son. Eighth son or eighth child. If you got eighth son, it's kind of a blessing. Do. Voodoo is syncretistic system for multiple rays. Syncretistic. I don't know what that word means. Sync what? Exactly. Syncretistic. Sync. Would be like similar, like something that is linked. So syncretistic is would be like common, I guess. Would be the no shared. Would that be synchronistic? Synchronistic. Oh, the extra kid gets some of the dangerous or boring about the wage jobs, like yeah. Without the weak noble boys, put them out of the way or each other to prevent sibling murdering each other. That could be like in the life event. In the life event, I might have something like that. If we won't get that there tonight. Let's not kill ourselves. I fucking write like 2 words a minute and then I fuck off with the chat. Falconry for a noble skill and a few of the retainer. Oh yeah, I do have like a falconry here. Nobles or politician, yeah, to some extent. You don't need to be a politician when you're born in it. I'm of the opinion that the fetish when it comes to magic doesn't matter the material or the symbology, but the cultural significance to the person who made it. Well, like the way I do it is like you basically like trap spirits into a fetish. So it's like the caster kind of like have to imbue the fetish with so it doesn't really matter what it is. But once you trap the spirit in the fetish, you need the fetish to use the spirit that is in it. Just like a runestone would be a dwarf fetish, yeah. History for a noble skill, yeah. Virtue just generous. I don't have the generous. Huh. I don't have a generous virtue for some reason. I have a courage, faith, honesty, pride, and temperance because I wanted to. What I was trying to do with the virtue, I wanted to be like to have two extreme. It's kind of like the Aristotelian idea that the virtue is kind of in between two extreme, and so it's kind of a scale. That's why like I always like two term. Like for courage, it's craven, and prudent, and the other side daring and reckless. Like you can be like being prudent is not a bad thing. Being daring is not a bad thing. Being reckless is, or being craven is. So you got this range. You can lean one way or the other without becoming a vice. But if you go too far one way or the other, then it becomes then it's no longer a virtue. That's what I was trying to do. And when it came, I think I considered generous, but then I couldn't find this kind of like balance that I was looking for. And then I came up with law. Yeah, law. I included in it's included in intrigue. Law is part of intrigue, so they got that. Yeah. I'm not too sure what the point scale in your game, but say it's of 10. A person that start off as noble gets 3 of end in your game. But let's say it's out of 10. A person that start off as a noble gets 3 of. Oh no, it's it's not. It's there's not skill point. They get experience point. They get experience in the skill. Uh, and then like you trade in your experience for skill point. So it's not like 1 to 1. And again, those numbers are just like placeholder for now. It's just to give me an idea where I want to go. But then once I got like the system established, I'm gonna go back and tweak with those numbers. Yeah, manner, that's part of it. It's kit. I got that in the intrigue also. Maybe I'm gonna build on an intrigue actually. I think that's people seem to push like toward that, and I think that's a good idea. I understand trolls and fawn being part of the fake category, but how those fake creature and green skin interact with the race of men? Or troll at or war with elves? Oh, okay. The the Fae are not at war with one another, but there's tension. The fawn and the elves kind of get along, fair enough. But they all have a like the fawn. I've got like beaten down quite a bit. They're almost extinct. And the elves, because like human and cut down forests and stuff like that, which is the habitat of the elves, they're also like dwindling. And the elves kind of say, well, our time has come. At some point, it's not going to be our world anymore. The race of men is taking over, and they kind of at peace at them. The phone are kind of in between. They say, well, no, we got our ass kicked out, but we cannot do much, but they're not happy with it. The trolls are more belligerent, and they're a little more aggressive. They say, you know what, you should fucking kick the ass of those men, those human, because they keep encroaching on our territory, or on our place where we live. So there's tension between the elves and the troll, but they're not at war because the Fae try to preserve the peace, understanding that their time is kind of come. The orcs are their own fucking thing, and they don't live amongst the human. They live like in a different, like some humans sometimes try to make settlement where the orcs are, and sometimes the orcs go raid. Uh, but they're not they kind of like there's a big mountain range, and the orcs live on one side, the humans live on the other side mostly now, like kind of like cross at some place. But and because the orcs have this religion. It goes back to the myth of creation. Like I said, like there's one god that created the elves, taking plants and making them sapient creature, and then one god took animals and make them sapient creature, and one god took rocks and make them sapient creature. And there's one god that took his own essence and sacrificed himself, or sacrificed a big part of himself, which was the god Can, and make the orcs. So before, and the orcs were there before the humans, and before the humans, they were like the most, because they don't depend on something else. They were the most like, it's the god that came the closest to what the All Father God did from creating life, but he kind of went mad in the process. So his creation is mad. He's kind of like always enraged and stuff like that. But because of that, he became like the god of sacrifice. And the orcs have this culture of raiding and destroying wealth. They want to capture gold and resource and stuff like that, and they throw it in lakes, and they bury it in the ground, and they make it inaccessible. Like it seems shameful for them to display gold and wealth and stuff like that, but they have this view that they need to is going to give you a better place in the afterlife. So they raid to take wealth from other people and to return it to the earth, basically, as a sacrifice to the earth. So that's how they interact with human. I hope that answered the question more or less. Yeah. Froze eating invisible corn. I don't eat corn. I was like, that's eating invisible corn is better than other thing you could see from the same picture. You want my daughter? I want 2 goats, a milk cow, and 6 chicken. How old is your daughter? Maybe you can work a deal. Yes, I was referring to the horse riding thing. Yeah, and that's a part of the culture. So you're right. I agree with you there. My old eyes can read the character sheet on my eponymous crap phone. Sorry, I suggested some stuff you already have. No, I can probably like zoom in here. Yeah, a little like level. A little 25% bigger. I can, yeah. Streamster forget phone user. Well, yeah, I'm not a phone user myself, so I don't tend to think about that. Becoming bleeding heart of generosity is just as bad as a greedy capitalist. A third position is the only substantial way. Yeah, you have like a if you start like a to like what is it called, like pusillanimity. If you like get rid of all your good, if you're generous to the point that it endure yourself, yeah, that's a vice. Um but it's what I miss was on the other side, like something that is your lack generosity, but it still can be seen as a positive. That's what I was missing on the other side. Uh, kind of say like, well, you know what, because all the other thing, I can say like, well, this guy is cunning. I'm not saying he's dishonest, but he's not frank. But there's something positive there. You can always like give a positive spin, but somebody that lean to. But like the lack of generosity, I didn't have like this positive spin. Oh no, I saw it like yeah, the eighth son of a father, the eighth son father can inherit the land and never line in line in six son just get married out of Fordori. Yeah, well that's why you had like the term bachelor. Now we say like a bachelor to an unmarried mean, but a bachelor came from bas chevalier, which is like a low knight. That's what they were. Like you were still born like in knight class, but you were probably like a eighth son or something like that. So you would serve like as a household knight. Oh, can I, would that be better if I move that here? How about that? Damn. Maybe that's better. I'll go hide behind my nameplate. But so yeah, if you were like an eighth son or something like that, you'd be like a bachelor, like a low knight. You probably didn't have like good chance of getting married or getting decently married. You would marry like like the daughter of a rich merchant or something like that. So, what was I? Oh yeah, I was looking for a third skill for them. Rex still says, so would orcs in your setting end up defending lost artifact and tombs from adventurers seeking riches? No, if they won't necessarily like go raid to get the lost artifact, but they won't defend it either, because like if they find it, there you go. Sometimes they would take like gold and stuff like that and burying in big mound, like deep underground in those like they build those big mound, and uh and then they would defend that if you try to go dig that up, but it's not like a crypt. There's no access to the treasure. Like basically, like it's just like they're gonna make those big pile if they have like if they have a big ore that they collect, they're gonna make a big pile and bury it under like tons of crap. But if like if adventurer go and take riches from a tomb or like they would just try to take that riches from them, to go fucking throw it in the lake or something. Uh, they're really about like destroying wealth. That's their thing. So that's give them a reason for to raid, but it's also like they raid, but they're not covered in gold because of that, because they have like this idea of like destroying wealth. Greed, gluttony, the use of spending all your wealth on your own vanity. Yeah. Well, I do have like also like a debauched Epicurean. So if in your temperance, so maybe that kind of covered that a bit as well. Or maybe I'm just not generous as a person. All right. Okay. So what would the human get riding, because they're like they're the night kind of people. Uh, what else did I give them? Tactics. Yeah, that was a good idea because they're supposed to be able to manage a battlefield. Uh, I could give them something like arts. I could give them some stewardship because they're expected to manage a household. Mm, I could give them some maybe I'm gonna give them some influence. Detect motive, insult, intimidation, persuasion. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna give them like any. You pick one of an influence. Yeah, finance would be like kind of like stewardship. Yeah, that's what it would be. Uh, but I think I'm gonna give them some influence. Yeah, I think that's what it's gonna be. Do 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 do. Because that's like influences are like the cheating and the convincing people. So like, a lot of like the courtly intrigue. I put that in the wrong place though. Let's see, I want it to be there. Any influence. Yeah, I think that works. Like I said, these are subject to change. So now the Islander, which are the dwarf. The noble dwarf are going to be more hardy. Like dwarf already hardy, but the noble dwarf are even more hardy than the other one. And they tend to be frank and pedantic. It's very expected. The dwarf are like a bit like they're patrician. You know, they're a bit like their culture is a bit Roman inspired in a way. So they're expected to they expected to behave in a certain manner. So and being very honest. Yeah. Orc or Buddhist. They're kind of like violent Buddhist. I I I kind of like the orcs. Be free of your material wants. Yeah, that's the true freedom you can have. Free of your desire. Our desire is what trap us. So you can gain nobility after birth. What happened then? Oh, well, you can, but the social class we're talking there, this is in your background. This is where you're in the social class in which you've been raised. So if you gain nobility after you're born, that's gonna be like later on in your life or through play. But then you just come as you are. You just come as you are. Yeah. Convert orc to Buddhism through aggressive negotiation. Yeah. Justin said basically, if you're saying if you want to be a really wealthy individual, you gotta find yourself an abandoned orc settlement. Well, they like I said, like that. If they throw the wealth in the bottom of lake, you don't only need to find the settlement. You have to find a way to dive deep to get it. Or if they bury it in mound, then yeah, you have to dig up the mound, which that it's easier to do, can be done, but then the orc's gonna be after you. But yeah, that could be a way to get rich. If you want to get some loot, go find some orc and go fight them. But you're gonna find a orc horde. Yeah. Trolls are boulder that fall off a mountain, stone giant. Yeah, basically that's part of what they are. Like I now I made them, and I might come back to them a bit, but like now they're like defined in kind of stone, like are they river stone, are they like granite, basalt, are they like sandstone, depending on the environment they come from. But yeah, some of them are like yeah, they come from the mountain, and some of them are like more bellicose than other. Yeah. The only good orc is a dead orc. Orc are just trying to help get off the wheel of reincarnation. Yeah. They also do slavery orcs, so you know that's also a thing. That's also something they can see as wealth. A virtue scale is a nice role-playing tool, better substitute for alignment. Yeah, and the virtue scale, it's not just something for role-playing, because it you get like those, and I need to change the design there for the presentation, but you got like a virtue point, and if you act in accordance to a virtue, you can get bonus dice on your dice pool by spending virtue point, and you can have like point on both sides. Like let's say for courage, you can have like maybe like 2 points in the craven prudent and 3 points in the daring reckless, and you have to spend the point from both sides before it can replenish. So if you always act as daring reckless and you want to spend your point from a craven prudent, then you your virtue point are not gonna replenish. So it in a way it gives you a mechanical reason to act according to the quality of your character in both sense. So anyway, that's something I was trying to do, like kind of like anyway enforce the role play of your personality through some mechanical benefit. Yeah, there can only be one Islander per game. That's not the same. Well, they call it Islander. The Islander was called an Islander because he was like a Scottish guy living in the island. When two Islander, yeah, those were immortal. My name is Connor MacLeod of the Cloud MacLeod. Yeah, enlightenment through violence. That's the best way to get enlightened. Orc noble, you pay him so you don't have to marry his daughter. The orc nobles are basically like warlords. So the skill they're gonna gain are gonna be like very like intimidation and stuff like that. They're orc dumping wealth in water in Mons Cave Canyon will explain treasure trove in the wilderness. Yeah, that's also part of what I was trying to create with this kind of narrative. Now I can picture a work art chief smoking a pipe and offering the PC deep wisdom. I don't I don't know if it'd be like deep wisdom. Yeah. Let's see. Uncle Ted the Orc Chieftain. Yeah. Well, I like the orc and I like Uncle Ted, so appealing idea in there. The players will never expect a monk or grandmaster being all grasshopper on them. Yeah. Free yourself of your wealth, man. Throw it to the lake. Get your gold. Throw it to the lake. All the orc or chief repeat is kill your enemy, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their woman. Yeah. He's an alchemist who rebels against metal tool. That's too much technology. You need to go back to the wood. What would the dwarf noble learn? They're not the artisan. They I think WinterDawn is Dark Sun, no metal. No, just the arc. They still use a metal weapon. I think I'm gonna give them law because they're a very rigid society. So they're gonna double down on like intrigue law. That's one thing they're gonna get. Um, I'm probably gonna give them like some more melee combat, but maybe I'm hesitating about pole arm, or maybe I want to give them like two-handed sword. Maybe like the common dwarf fight with axe, but the noble they got the two-handed sword, which are not that big because they're dwarf. But and what else would they know? Maybe they would know his story. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. What do you think of that? Law, history, and two-handed sword. Does that sound cool? Does that give like a specific feel for the dwarf? That's what I'm trying to do actually. What I'm trying to do is like even if I don't tell you what they're about, you can just look at the skill and say, I want to tell you about the I want to hint at the setting through through the mechanics. Uh, do I write it in full? Yeah, I guess so. Two-handed sword, that's part of melee combat. How does that look? Poetry, singing. Yeah, that'd be cool as well. But I think I'm gonna keep that for the elves. The elves are definitely gonna have like singing or music, something like that. The nobles are gonna be like, oh, my bias would come to like I don't like elves. I see them a bit of a faggish. So not that I see like poetry and singing as faggy. I fucking start the book with a poem. One of my favorite poem. Well, yeah, I guess. Connor MacLeod could not read at the beginning of the movie. There was a big part of the first Highlander movie where he was learning how to write his own name. If you didn't get that joke, yeah, no, I got that joke. Yeah, I remember. Well, I haven't seen that movie in such a fucking long time. I'm probably still living in my hometown, so that would be like around 2000, something like that. So this is the problem with the race and class. They should all get all skill from both race and class. Well, that's what they do now. Dwarf noble with no history and love for sure. Yeah, because like I said, like I'm giving them a bit of a Roman Empire vibe. Yeah. Drink like the dwarf got the got point like racial point and resist poison. So that's for the drinking because like alcohol is poison basically. It's a great poison that we like, but beardery, beardery, yeah, a skill to grow a beard, yeah, or beard heraldry. Man, that's a fucking cool idea. That's a fucking cool idea. Instead of having like shield with the heraldic pattern on that, they have like specific clan braid that is the heraldry. You know what? That's a fucking good idea, L. I might try to integrate that. Like the noble, yeah, each noble clan got this specific type of braiding in the beard and like decoration and stuff like that, and that's how you recognize it to what clan it is. Yeah, that's I think that's cool. Yeah. Couldn't both dwarf and elf share skill in common? Yeah, they can, but like I said, this might change later on. Because I might like no, I'll just give like them three skill, just like to give them a line. But I'm probably gonna add some more later on, like some more like minor skill when I'm gonna do the balance. I just want to kind of get the shape of the thing going, and then I'm gonna add some more later on. Nobody start with magic, so there's that. But dwarven wizard, it's not like excluded in that game. The best McLeod was Quentin McLeod. I hated that show when I was a lad. Like I thought it was like so fucking tacky. The TV show Islander, but I don't like TV show in general or movies. So there's that. Yeah. I decided in my dwarf kingdom that the non-dwarves in the middle and upper sorry. In my dwarf kingdom, the non-dwarves in the middle and upper class women wear fake beards to fit in with dwarven. Yeah, that's a good idea as well. That's a good idea as well. Yeah. Egyptian used to wear fake beards like when they couldn't grow them. Elves get the heraldry ear heraldry, yeah. So fake beard vendor make banks. Oh yeah. All right. Next one that can be noble. We skip the lowlander. Should I say? I think I'm gonna not gonna go with the islander. It's kind of like the short one, but it's island half man. I think I'm gonna put it in full there. The next one that gets noble are the orc. So let's do the orc noble. Orc noble definitely strength. You know what? I'm gonna change the Iman. Uh, I'm gonna give them erudition. I think. No. Erudition. No. Yeah. Let's give them strength. Let them with strength. Intrigue, knowledge. Maybe they get. What is intrigue? Erudition, law, history. Am I back? Sorry. Even in getting your beard shaved mean you're removed from the clan. Yeah. Yeah. And then you're not allowed to beard it in that. Yeah, that's a fucking cool idea, man. Even Queen Hatshepsut of Egypt wore a fake beard. Yeah, she's depicted with this. Yeah, I remember that. This is also great because you can have page and page of beard of beard breeding artwork just for the hell of it. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that though. The only dwarf magic use that comes to my mind are the one of the Night of the Dinner Table and Alberich from the Ring of Nibelung. Yeah, it's true. In the Ring of the Nibelung, there's the dwarf. You got like magic item. It does get like spell as well. I forgot. Balchin dwarf that have been exiled. Yeah, that's a, yeah, man. Like dwarves are dwarves are cool. Dwarves are like the coolest fantasy race. A noble and an epic progenitor to Claire Charles William. Oh yeah, the Alberich. Yeah, Balchin. Yeah, that's a cool name. Dwarf that have been exiled. Dwarf rely a lot on trade, and that's in WinterDawn. So, because like there are a lot of stuff that they cannot grow food. The lowland and the island halfman used to be the same people, but the lowland halfmen were the ones that were living outside the citadel, doing the wood cutting, doing the farming and stuff like that. But at some point they revolted and they decided to become their own people. They were kind of like the lowest caste because like you're so low class, you're so low in the caste society that you don't even get to live in the citadel, and you don't work with stone, you don't work with metal and stuff like that. You work with like less noble material. You work in the dirt, you know. But at some point they say it's enough. We're gonna do our own thing, and then they become like their own people. And now the dwarf has to rely a lot on trade. But the caste of dwarf that go a lot outside the wall, in the outside wall to exchange goods, they're seen with suspicion, and they're kind of like they're still kind of a low caste. The more you deal with the outside world, the lower class you're seeing. That's why you see like here, like the Islander, it's like based on race, on sub race, because the sub race for the Islander is the caste in which you belong, and the caste in which you belong is gonna determine like the social class you. It's a very rigid society, so yeah, that's what I'm going for. I play dwarf and fighter only. I got idea. Yeah, dwarf is like the manliest non-human race, I think. So okay, the orcs, they get bonus in Constitution. They got bonus in your their daring and reckless. You need to be quite courageous. What skill would they get? They will definitely get intimidation. That's gonna be an important one for orc warlord. Warlord. Uh, they could get more riding because that's a big part of their culture. Doo-doo-doo. They don't build anything, so they don't need anything in crafting. They don't have anything in housecraft either. And oh, probably some resist pain. I think that's gonna be it. Intimidation, melee combat, resist pain. Yeah, because they have to make they want to be warlord. They have to make those big show of so intimidation. Yeah, I got it right. And that's part of influence. And that's gonna be the second one. So let's put 2 for now. Then that's gonna be any uh, toughness for resist pain. Yeah, I think that works. What do you think, guys? That feel orcish. That feel like an orc warlord. Let's move on to the next one. Architecture of building unique huts. They work in a yurt. Architecture. Got it. I got it. Yeah. Justin say. Oh, wait. Gully dwarf wizard. Yeah, man. Just like freak out about that. Grandma, it's Boo Poo from Dragonlance. She learned very limited magic from wrestling, right? All I'm asking, I don't never read the Dragonlance thing. All I'm asking is I want a dwarf wizard and his spell book has got nothing to do with magic whatsoever. Yeah, like what? Fucking internet. A dwarf wizard is a dwarf that's so obtusely unaware that what they are doing is not actually magic. They insist that it is. Yeah. Well, like I could see like also like the rune magic. People often talk about that. Like what if they make like enchanted item, maybe something like that. I could see that, but I don't have like a very dog in that fight. Yeah. I think rather than or not, Albrecht cast spell ultimately depend on the storyteller. In some version he does, but I don't think he does in the original opera. Alright? I don't remember. Albrecht? I don't remember. Been a while. The dwarf that gets admitted to wizard, but he got like the thing that makes Siegfried invisible, no? The dwarves that get admitted to wizard school are like the owl, or like those human children that get admitted to the special class. Yeah, just like, well, okay, yeah, sure, you can cast spell. Yeah, go ahead. We're gonna give you a place there. For some reason, I always felt bad for Alberich. Like he wanted to be good and noble, but felt like nobody appreciated him or something. I don't know. They become YouTuber. Special class, yeah. Doesn't oh yeah, sorry. All right. Okay, the goblin. I need like now I need to tell you about a bit about the goblin. The goblin, they most goblin live amongst the orc. Some of them are like a franchise. They're kind of like almost slave of the orc, but they're slave in the sense of the like the how the Roman had Greek slave. You know what I mean? They're subservient to the orc, but they're not necessarily treated badly. Like the orcs see the use of the goblin, but they are kind of rough with them because the goblins tend to be greedy and shit like that. Uh, they don't have the same compulsion of destroying wealth. They want to hoard it. So the orcs see that it's they know they're related, and it's kind of like their duty to keep them in check. They used to be the same people over time. Like it's kind of like they take a different evolutionary path, and the goblin in that are smart and yeah, they're like Bondi. Yeah, that'd be a way to put it. They're smart and they're creative. Like there is like gunpowder, there is like firearm in WinterDawn, and oh, I have a good stream with Shadow. Have fun. And the goblins are the one that invented black powder, so they do stuff like that. They do it like crude and stuff, and so the orcs kind of like to keep them around. So goblins in the noble social class, they wouldn't be noble themselves. They don't run anything. They're just goblins that are in the household of an orc warlord, basically. So it doesn't really give them any power themselves, but they're bound to the house, the clan of a warlord. So maybe they gotta use. So maybe they're gonna get some tactics. They're probably gonna get some. So they're probably gonna get some. They probably need to be a little wiser because the warlord will want the best goblin, and they're gonna be devious and cunning because that's their thing. They're gonna get some tactics probably. They're gonna get what else? Is gonna get? They're probably gonna get some range combat because that's also part of the like the orcs don't use to like range combat because it's kind of shameful. But they see the use of range combat for fighting, and it kind of delay that with the goblins, especially since the goblins do have like firearms stuff like that. So maybe that's even what they're gonna get there. Maybe they're gonna get straight up the firearm skill. Firearms. Yeah, they're gonna be training that because since they're in the household of a warlord, they can goblin profession, bald scrubber. Oh, I cannot highlight the show. Am I even fucking on? Man, this thing sucks. My internet like really stable tonight. Bald scrubber, Latin brush, fire extinguisher, damn plug. Yeah. No, they're not like treated. They're still seen as like a property by the orc. But it's like your car is your property. It doesn't mean you treat your car like shit. You know what I mean? You still kind of take care of it. So Goblin always got the side hustle going on. Yeah. Yeah. Vision of steampunk goggle. Yeah, I'm not gonna go steampunk. Then wagon thing delivering your food fast DoorDash. Yeah, have fun on a shadow stream. Yeah, man, like, the fucking lag, man. My internet like really sucks. I don't know why. Like maybe I should only stream during the week. Why people should be outside, man. If somebody was saying like, oh, it's probably like the weekend people use internet more. Well, you should use it less. So okay, tactics, firearm. What else would they get? Uh, Thought my computer was frozen there for a second. Maybe they should know stewardship. That wouldn't be a thing that orcs would value. Uh, Maybe they could get some insult. That could be cool. Uber is a goblin riding a goat, delivering squirrel stew cooking. Yeah, Uber Eat. I never use Uber Eat. Yeah, it doesn't exist here because there's nobody. So I live in the middle of nowhere. So it's the kind of thing you don't have. Oh, that's not. I guess like when I was at some girl's place, sometimes they order Uber Eat. One of my ex was a would use it quite a bit, which I need to go see her this week. Oh, yeah. They have to constantly lie to their master to hide an agenda and ambition they might have. Yeah, that it. Maybe they could get some first aid. What about that? Because they get trained in some first aid because they have like their warlord master. Man, that fucking pisses me off. This fucking internet like is awful now. It's fucking ridiculous, man. It's unusable for like the price they charge on top of it. You know, like for this. But yeah, I was thinking like first aid because maybe they go the warlord get into fights and stuff like that. The warlord master, and then they. But it's the role of the goblins to kind of like patch up the warlord when they get injured. So I think that's what I'm gonna give them. I think that give a good flavor. Yeah, they take care of each other. Well, they have to take care of their master. Like I said, they're like subordinate. They're like, but it's not like an overly it's not an overly like hostile relationship. It's kind of like a it's not an equal relationship, but it's kind of also like kind of symbiotic more than parasitic. So I'm gonna give them that. I think that's cool. First aid, and that's in survival, but just gonna get a little bit. Do you want to give them tactics? Yeah, why not? Why not? Maybe I'll change it later. Maybe I'm not gonna like it in the future. Next one. We can move on. Like I said, I'm just trying to get the shape of it now. Hobgoblin. Okay. What about Hobgoblin? They're gonna get some persona. Because, okay. And they're gonna be like discipline slash and what's the word I used? Insensitive. And I'm gonna explain you why. Yeah, my internet like is fucking like tonight especially like it's awful. This is me when I'm making setting for travelers, game mechanic. Yeah, it's kind of fun. They should have an attitude problem and think themselves the equal of works and other then should be struggle for them. Well, actually, like there's one, you know, I mentioned like in the sub race, the when you play an orc or the Urankan people, one of the sub race is one of the clan of orc is one that where the goblins took over, and now the goblins run, and they are fucking nasty. Like they're the worst. Like they, so it's the goblin ruling, and they use like fighting like yeah like this kind of like a sense of like some kind of sense of honor that orcs have like, about like being strong, being like facing your enemy heads on and stuff like that. Now when the goblins take over in the for the black orcs, they it all takes the now like they're gonna attack at night, they're gonna sneak, they're gonna use all of those fucking shady tactics because it's the goblin leading. So you got all the savagery of the orc, but none of the thing that would kind of like hold them back. But that's like in a specific clan there. Yeah. Oh, and oh yeah, I was about to say that the hobgoblin in that setting. The hobgoblins is the mix between one parent's an orc, one parent is a goblin, and it's a very like taboo relationship. You're not supposed to. So the hobgoblin kind of like this very weird place in the clan, and they're sterile. They cannot reproduce either with a goblin or an orc. Some of them can reproduce with other hobgoblin, which is pretty rare because the hobgoblins are pretty rare. So the hobgoblin is you're gonna be in this clan. You're still part of the clan, but you're always kind of an outcast, and they're still used because they have like some of the strength and flaw of both race. They're kind of like a mix in between. They're not as strong as the orc, but and they're not as smart as the goblin, but they're kind of in between. So they do have some use, but because of the infertility and because they come from a taboo union, they have a rough time. So that's why like it's gonna boost their persona because to survive they have to be tough and and yeah, yeah, not being able to have kid radically mess with your worldview. Yeah, being an orc subject to goblin rules redefine low caste. Yeah, and the other orcs fucking hate the black orcs. They're the worst. For them it's so shameful, and they're the worst enemy. Like it's the biggest war they have between orcs is that. And also like because the goblin took over, they don't have the same thing about destroying wealth as the other orcs have. Hobgoblins need something to show anger since they are sterile and sexually frustrated. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but usually like they either like die young or they tend to be like those very resilient and kind of overachiever kind of because they have like they got dealt such a bad end from the start. Uh, so that's what I'm going for with the hobgoblin. Uh, so they're definitely gonna get some. They're gonna get some insult influence because they get insulted so much and they have to dish some back. So they're probably gonna get good at that. And now, like they're still part of the clan of the warlord, so they're a bit protected as well. Uh, what else can they get? Maybe I can gonna get. Maybe I'm gonna give them some stealth. No. Insult for sure. Maybe they're gonna get some toughness as well. Maybe I'm gonna give them some boost the ego again. What about insult, ego, and resist pain? don't don't make those orcs the black orcs. Wokis will try to end you. Well, it's because they paint themselves black because they do a lot of like night tactics and they attack at night and stuff like that. Like they sneak around. Uh, I don't care about the Wokis. They're gonna end me anyway because I don't use the they them pronoun. You know. Hobgoblin abuse the goblin. That's why they the one clan revolted. Hobgoblins are pretty rare, so they don't have like any yeah. Goblins are wily. Yeah, that's how I do them. Sort of a native low cunning. Yeah. Uh, yeah, they're not like the goblins are that I have like they're not like that necessarily typical goblin. Like they have some brains, you know, but they use it for all the kind of like mischievous kind of thing. Yeah, insult. Okay, that's gonna be it. Insult from the influence. That's gonna be their main, I guess. Then they're gonna be ego from resilience, and then it's gonna be that's gonna be in toughness and that's resist pain. So the same as there. Yeah. I think that's do it for the Hobgoblin. That's good enough for now. We're gonna move on to the next one. Hobgoblin. What did they do? Oh, I didn't copy the whole thing. Oh no, I did. I just didn't. Okay, there. Next one are the elf. Persona for elf, probably. Do I want persona for elf? For elf noble? Goblins of Viet Cong. Yeah, that could be a good way to see. Yeah, actually, goblins of Viet Cong. That's a good analogy, like Crapphone say. Yeah, use weapon that function even when filthy. And the dwarves are the one that like do like nice plate mail and nice weapon and stuff like that. And they fucking hate goblins, and because like they hate the firearms. Yeah, because like they are it kind of defeat like a bit the can go through the nice armor and stuff like that. And they think it's like a shameful weapon. They fucking hate it. Yeah, elves. I hate those guys as well. The elves noble, they're gonna be debauched. What's the one I did? Epicurean. Debauched Epicurean. There you go. Do I boost their persona? I didn't make persona like a big stat for elves because they're a bit aloof and they are a bit. They don't have like a strong character because they're very emotional. They don't have like strong control because like persona is gonna affect your resilience and your strength of character. But now they are like they are very emotional and they get swayed a lot by their emotion. They're not in good control of their emotion, so that would be like a low persona, and they're a bit aloof, so that'd be like a low persona there. So maybe either like a persona. Yeah, I think I'm gonna boost the persona, and I'm gonna give them some art. Yeah, they're both Epicurean, and they're gonna have like a. I'm even gonna say like a any art. So you can take some dance, you can take some music, you can take some acting, poetry. There you go. That's what the elf nobles do. The elf nobles they worry about this kind of crap. They don't do the crafting. Uh, Grace, not really. Well, they do, but not because of their noble. Influence, not really, because they don't do that thing. Intrigue, either. Uh, Maybe some melee combat. Maybe because I don't know. Huh? What should I give to the elves? Elves noble. Maybe I can give them some persuasion. It's kit. Maybe I'm gonna give them like some persuasion and some it's kit. What do you think of that? It was like yeah, elf will just elf will just like prostitute. So add cooking as an art, an elf for the Japanese. Cooking, I have a cooking skill. It's part of Ozcraft, and actually cooking is pretty useful because like a big part of the game is your is spirit. You got spirit point, which are kind of like the hit point. You lose them when you get beat in combat, or if you get like a attack psychologically and stuff like that, you're gonna lose like spirit point. But also you can spend. It's a melange. It's a mix between your moral and your stamina, and you can spend spirit point to gain bonus dice when you try to do something. Like you exert yourself a little more. You try to lift something heavy. You spend some spirit point, but then you get tired at some point. When you don't have a spirit point, you are limited in the number of dice you can roll, or cannot roll any dice. And you regain spirit point by resting, but also by merrymaking. And one thing that one thing that would help you gain more spirit point if somebody that can cook well cook a nice meal, a big feast. Then you're gonna eat that with people you like. You're gonna gain more spirit point. Is that giant land? No, it's like I'm quite into sport. Yeah, I was saying that's just some things. Someday you go to the gym. If you're demoralized or stuff like that, your lift is gonna suck. If you're depressed, you won't be able to move any weight. The same thing as if you go in, you're tired. Like so. There's this really like it's your spirit. It's your kind of your mindset that you're in. It's a big impact on your performance, and that's in everything. You try to do anything. You try to draw. If you're too tired, or you try to write. If you're too tired, it's gonna be shit. If you're depressed, it's gonna be shit. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that are linked there. Yeah, I'm a jock. Yeah, I went for a run this morning. I used to play basketball and football when I was younger. Now I'm into lifting. Yeah, what did I say? Yeah, so I gave them art. I think I'm gonna give them like persuasion and etiquette. Do you have something? maybe I could give them some folklore. Folklore could be yeah, maybe I'm gonna give them persuasion and folklore. Yeah, persuasion and folklore. I think that's gonna be it for now, at least. Maybe I'll change later. Uh, Persuasion. That's in intrigue, and that's gonna be the minor one. That's gonna be the whoops, the mid one, and knowledge. Folklore. That works. Alright, let's move on. Fucking elves are done. I like to lift weight, but I'm an old dude with zero form. You know, I'm a form coach, so if you want some coaching, you can take video of yourself, and I do that a lot. I do like online coaching for form. So if you want to film yourself or lifting, I can give you the basic, and I can explain how to do it without injuring yourself. There's a guy I train. Is 51, no 50. He just turned 50. Yeah, and he can bench 500 pounds. You know what I mean? Just like he's a great lifter. That's obviously not everybody's gonna be there. Like the guy's a world record holder. Uh, his woman is she's like a 160-pound woman, 54. She's 54, 53, something like that, and she can bench 225. You know, which is pretty good for a small woman like that. Well, it's very good actually. Phone. The phone again are like what do I want to give them? The phone. Why did nothing why does nothing show there? Noble, no, attribute. Oh, I'm an idiot. I forgot to I forgot to do my oops, not there. 2 plus a dash pipe. It's not a dash, it's a pipe. 2 plus a pipe. 2 plus a pipe. Forgot to separate my so now the table wouldn't work. There you go. And the phone. I live the toilet scene. Videoing myself at the gym would look beyond pathetic and vain, but I appreciate the offer. Maybe if I join the 24-hour local gym at like 2 in the morning. I do also have like on my channel like a TSM training. I do have like some video. Those are like, I don't have much. I don't upload there often, but those are video oftentimes I made when I tried to explain something to. Sometimes I would send video to people in my online groups that I coach, and yeah, I was saying instead of just making video for them and sending them like in private, I said I'm gonna make video more general and put them on this YouTube channel that people can look. So I do have like some advice there for like a form thing, like especially like for like early, like like getting your shoulder blade together, opening your hips, stuff like that. That is good on all form, on all lift. I do have like some bench form, something when you grab the bar, some little detail that some people miss sometime. You can go look at TSM training with Mr. Max Boivin. It's a very small channel. I don't upload often there, and I don't really use it. But once in a while, when I try to explain something to one of my guy, I'll make a video about it and put it there instead. Yeah, it was fun to catch the stream, but I have to go. Yeah, have a good night. I wish you luck on your work with WinterDawn, Mr. Max. Good night, everyone. Thank you for dropping by, still, and see you. I might end the stream like eventually as well. Well, I will end it eventually, but maybe soon because I'm getting pissed off about the internet. But you know what? I'm pretty happy with the. Well, I couldn't say that we like I was hanging out with the chat too, so I couldn't say like it went very fast. Where I did a lot, but I'm happy that I did some. I'm probably gonna. Well, phone is the last one. One, two, three. Wait, Iman, Islander, Orc, Goblin, Hobgoblin, Elf. I think phone we're gonna have like. What did I say earlier? Noble. Uh, uh. Oh, it's because I know I put the Goblin in. I think phone are not gonna have any noble. Yeah, you'll check out. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna be done because like I'm not gonna do phones are not gonna have any noble. They're it's not part of the culture. There are more like egalitarian culture because they've been beaten. Just before I leave, I'm just gonna do a render of the to see what we did. And you see now I just converted it in the document that we did. And now if I go refresh that here, can go down. Social class noble. I'm gonna do a blurb later on. I got the cost there for the. Oh, I need to change the cost for the phone. I'm gonna change that right away before I forget. Phone. They're gonna be like just a NA. And it's gonna be a 6+. There you go. Let's reconvert that. There. So now I got the first social class done. That's it's fucking internet, man. I don't know if it's because I'm with OBS. Does it struggle more? I don't know. Maybe OBS is no because it's not like a. I don't know, man. It's fucking crap. Soon, even the year, I can't even fucking do my wrap up because it keeps fucking freezing. Thank you for everybody that joined. Thank you for everybody that watched later. It was fun for me to do show you a bit like how I work in my design process, and I guess I did talk about like the setting that I'm thinking about when I write. So maybe you found that interesting as well, like the way that I see those creatures and stuff like that. And oh, most people just turn off cam. Yeah, but like I'm trying to show something like where I work there that wouldn't work well in the audio only. And if you have idea or suggestion or stuff like that, you can link. You can let a comment down below. No comment about my internet, man. That's fucking pissed me off enough. And I put in the description box also the link to. You won't have the character creation in the document that is online now. No, I just have that in local here. But you're gonna have like the basic rule if you want to know more about the game, how the dice mechanics works, and how the combat works and stuff like that. You can have an idea. I also made a video introduction to WinterDawn in the past. If you look at my channel, you can see that. If you want, what I talk about, maybe an hour and a half about what I'm trying to do with the game and what kind of rule there is. I know I repeated some of it here, but if you're curious, you can go watch it out. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Take care.